Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. The merit points for this task are 50 million, which is rather small. Given the high threshold and arduous nature of the task, such measly merit points for 3,000 eras of hardship. In the dream domain, one could easily earn that much by picking up some treasures. This task has been discussed and designated for me by several emperors. Luo Feng slightly furrowed his brows. Before the completion of the 24 forms world life form, he was not willing to be in too much conflict with the emperors. Master, I have received a task assignment. Luo Feng immediately transmitted the message and sent the complete task content to his master. Reject it, Emperor Chu immediately ordered. Cultivating primordial bloodline beast eggs is very troublesome, as you need to multitask with 192 focuses simultaneously and tend to them with care, and furthermore, you are always under puppet surveillance, you cannot slacken in the slightest. 3,000 eras of time will greatly impact your cultivation. This is a tough and exhausting job. Those whose cultivation has stalled at the second realm of Godly King and are adept at creating avatars will take on this task to please a certain emperor. You don't need to accept it, Emperor Chu instructed. Yes, Master. Luo Feng did not intend to accept it either. He already had the material of the primordial bloodline for the 24 forms, and if he wanted stronger primordial bloodline materials, they would have to be from ultimate realm power primordial bloodline creatures, which are forbidden to be shared by both ancient country imperial clans. According to Luo Feng's understanding, even the avatars of the ancestors would be watching, and even if one took on the role of a guard, private maneuvers were not possible. Based on my understanding of them, once you reject, they will still have other moves, Emperor Chu commanded. Don't worry about how they threaten or tempt you, just refuse everything. Leave the rest to me. Disciple understands, Luo Feng thought to himself, rejected yet there are other moves. Huyang City, city owner's mansion. Luo Feng was drinking fruit wine on the upper floors of the high-rise pavilion. The path of life has finally reached the second realm of Godly King as well. Luo Feng felt quite relaxed. Since the life lotus rooted in his inner world, Luo Feng and the great Tao of life were in perfect harmony, and studying the secret patterns of life in the Star Tower also helped him a lot. The life-related secret patterns in the Star Tower represent the largest category. That very night, the three branches of life spirituality, body of life, origin of life merged perfectly, and he made further progress in realm, which allowed even smoother comprehension of the 24 forms. Just by displaying a bit of second realm of Godly King strength, the emperors have begun to pay attention to me, Luo Feng said to himself while holding his wine cup. Earlier, he had made his power at the first realm of Godly King public, capable of entangling with the Emperor of Tian Kuan only through multiple avatars, and the emperors ignored him. Now, one after another, they took notice and even had designs on him. Luo Feng could feel subtle threads of causality beginning to entangle him. Though these threads of causality were faint, they were also cryptic and profound, and even Luo Feng found it difficult to detect the connections at the other end. Because he couldn't detect who was connected, Luo Feng could extrapolate the outcome. Given my realm and the perceptiveness of my spiritual will, if I cannot detect these obscure causal threads, then they must be the doings of emperors and monarchs. As ultimate realm life forms that have achieved perfection, they can isolate themselves from all causality inquiries, so naturally, I cannot detect them. Suddenly, the temperature around him rose, and invisible white flames began to burgeon. Luo Feng's complexion slightly changed. The rules of heaven and earth around him changed, transformed into the rules of fire. Within the spreading white flames, the visage of a woman made of fire appeared, looking at Luo Feng with indifference. Seeing her, Luo Feng stood up and politely paid his respects. Guest official Luo, he pays his respects to the emperor. The woman wielding such terrifying flames could only be Di Wu, one of the 13 emperors of the flame-wind ancient country, and she had a life and death enmity with his master, Emperor Chu. Hurry up and accept the task of cultivating the primordial bloodline beast eggs, the woman's visage ordered coldly. Emperor, I cannot accept, Luo Feng shook his head. The woman's gaze suddenly turned much colder, and the invisible white flames instantly eroded Luo Feng's body. Luo Feng's world life form felt extreme pain, as his body was almost instantly burned to a state of near annihilation, before starting to recover again. This terrifying flame was intentionally restraining its power, scorching Luo Feng's physique to the brink of obliteration, but not completely destroying it. Just a newly initiated world life form is still too weak in front of an emperor. Luo Feng felt a sizable gap at that moment. Just because you are a disciple of Emperor Chu, you dare to refuse me? The woman's visage looked at Luo Feng with coldness. You must accept this task. If you dare to refuse, all the disciples of your Blade River sect will turn to ash. Luo Feng's expression changed. Emperor. An emperor using the lives of all disciples of the Blade River sect to threaten him without any care for appearances. Speak, do you accept or refuse? The woman's visage asked coldly. Di Wu, are you threatening my disciple? A terrifyingly dark presence arrived, wantonly eroding the surrounding white flames, and formed a towering figure that stared at the woman's visage. If you dare to annihilate all the disciples of the Blade River sect, I'll just kill another of your children. Guess who I'll choose this time? The woman's visage watched the other with eyes full of murderous intent. She had 5 children. Over the years, 2 had been utterly killed by Emperor Chu, without any chance for reincarnation. Now only 3 remained. If all her children were gone, she would be free of attachments and would fight to the death with Emperor Chu. But because of the remaining 3, she had to be exceedingly cautious. You threaten me for a disciple, the woman's visage said angrily. Yes, I am threatening you. Emperor Chu looked at the woman, with his ultimate realm power of destruction and the Great Tao, combined with powerful secret treasures. He could kill anytime he wished, making her children's survival impossible. Even while hiding within the Dewu Palace, Emperor Chu's direct killing couldn't save Diwu's children. Good, very good. The woman's face sneered, and then the white flames dissipated completely, and she vanished. Master. Luo Feng looked to Emperor Chu. Have you seen their shamelessness? Emperor Chu's terrifying aura condensed as he spoke with a smile. I hadn't expected an emperor to use the life of an entire sect to threaten me into doing things. Indeed, Luo Feng had his eyes opened. For a God King grade secret treasure, one might understand the unscrupulous methods, but still. Just one task, and he threatened with the life of an entire sect. Luo Feng felt this so-called emperor's way of doing things wasn't even on par with that of a common godly king, not to mention a common primal chaos realm in terms of dignity. Emperor Chu said, when power is unrestrained and can do as it pleases, it takes a strong mental state to control oneself. Luo Feng nodded. Unrivaled power, in the hands of a madman, was indeed terrifying. Practicing the primordial bloodline, having the bloodline will contaminate oneself, they act even more recklessly. Emperor Chu shook his head. I also have to keep her 3 children to restrain her. In the future, should you get involved with emperors or monarchs, immediately contact me, and I will help you resolve it. Thank you, Master. Luo Feng was truly grateful. Of course, the best solution is for you to grow stronger yourself. Emperor Chu said with a faint smile and then left. Luo Feng nodded. He was going all out in his comprehension of the 24 forms. A vast space. 12 thoughts converged here, manifesting 12 vague and towering figures. They were the 12 emperors of the flame-wind ancient country, excluding Emperor Qing. Each of them exuded a terrifying presence, all like complete great Taos descending. Whether it be devastating and destructive, or an endless abyss, or full of boundless vitality. This assembly is proposed by Di Yang. Di Fu spoke. Di Yang suggests, stripping Luo He of his guest official status. According to the imperial clan's traditions, to strip a guest official status requires at least half of the emperors in attendance to agree. The guest official system was established by the ancestor. Stripping the guest official status wasn't something that 1 or 2 emperors could decide. Strip the guest official status. Emperor Chu laughed. My disciple Luo He, with his extraordinary talent, was unbeatable in the first realm of godly king right, after he became a godly king. Now that he has reached the second realm of godly king, the blade light he cast before, in the second realm of godly king, is considered top tier. With such talent, Di Yang, you actually want to strip him of his guest official status? Emperor Chu shook his head. Do our imperial clan need to care about a mere cultivator's talent? Even the Lord of 10,000 Realms wouldn't dare defy our flame-wind ancient country. Di Yang sneered coldly. The dignity of the flame-wind ancient country is what's most important. How exactly did this little fellow offend the dignity of our flame-wind ancient country? Emperor Chu continued. Di Yang spoke indifferently. Since Luo he became a godly king, he has rejected all tasks given to him, never accepting one. Instead, by using his status as an emperor's disciple, he received a heritage worth over 200 million merit points. A guest official who only knows how to take without giving. I think the imperial clan does not need such a guest official. The heritage he received was bestowed by me. Emperor Chu said, it's customary for emperors to pass down heritage to their disciples. While it is customary, he still refuses every single task. Di Yang spoke. I personally asked him to accept a task, but even with my status as an emperor, he didn't consider it and still refused. Fire Lady Di Wu spoke lightly with a laugh. If he doesn't care for an emperor's orders, what's the use of such a guest official? He directly refused you when you personally asked. A dusky figure spoke up. Since the emperor personally saw him and ordered him to do something, he should obediently accept. With such disregard for hierarchy, I also agree to strip his guest official status. What? Just because you're high-ranking, he has to obediently listen to you. He doesn't have the right to refuse. Emperor Ming chuckled lightly. Even the ancestor had set the rule that guest officials have the right to refuse. But it seems in front of you, Di Yuan, he somehow loses that right. In their eyes, even as an emperor's disciple, he should be completely under their control, at their mercy to kill at will. Emperor Xian said coldly from the side. Di Fu looked at the scene in front of him with a headache. Gentlemen, let's make a decision on Di Yang's proposal, Di Fu urged. The results quickly came in. Those who agreed to strip Luo He of his guest official status were Di Yang, Di Shi, Di Wu, Di Yuan, and Di Wu, a total of 5. Indeed, Di Wu's attempt to see Luo Feng and his subsequent refusal caused dissatisfaction among some emperors. Some emperors were very concerned about hierarchy. A mere cultivator not giving face to an emperor deserved punishment. This was why Di Yang dared to propose stripping Luo He of his guest official status. But Di Yang and the other two had thoroughly offended several emperors over the long years. For example, Emperor Xian, who also greatly valued hierarchy, did not hesitate to stand on the opposite side of Emperor Yang. His disciple, Emperor Gui Shu, being pushed to such an extent, Emperor Xian saw it as a great shame. Di Yang and his two associates simply didn't care about Emperor Xian's dignity. Emperor Kong would always oppose Di Yang in every vote. Thus, in the end, those who disagreed were Emperor Chu, Emperor Ming, Emperor Xian, Emperor Kong, Di Zhufeng, and Di Yu, 6 in total. Di Fu abstained from voting. Di Fu, you abstain. Di Yang was quite annoyed. Before initiating the proposal, he had assessed that the likelihood of success was high. He never expected that Di Fu, on whom he had bestowed numerous favors, would abstain. Stripping a guest elder of their title requires at least half of the attending emperors to agree. Therefore, on this proposal, abstaining is essentially equivalent to disagreeing. Emperor Yang stared at Emperor Fu. He had always valued Emperor Fu. They were among the earliest emperors of the flame-wind ancient country, with Emperor Yang being the first and Emperor Fu the second. The earliest emperors had always been quite united. But then Emperor Fu had forsaken the primordial bloodline to choose reincarnation, and afterward, he became even more formidable. Using formations for body refinement, without much reliance on external forces, he had cultivated to become an ultimate realm life form, which shocked the entire land of origin. Emperor Yang could also deduce that Emperor Fu was likely the next Emperor Qing. Even if he couldn't break through this reincarnation era, he would be able to do so after leaving the source world and given more extended time. Emperor Fu's potential was much greater than that of their trio of emperors, which is why he had always been on good terms with Emperor Fu. Who would have thought that, over such a trivial matter today, Emperor Fu would actually stand on the opposite side. Emperor Yang, Emperor Fu said, Luo he has been a godly king for just over 2 centuries. To strip him of his guest official status after 2 centuries of not accepting tasks, if word got out, it would reflect poorly on us. After all, the right to refuse tasks was determined by the ancestor. Emperor Yang looked at Emperor Fu. Emperor Fu spoke gently, but his words were impossible to persuade otherwise. Forget it, Emperor Yang disappeared immediately, retreating and leaving. With his departure, Emperor Shi and Emperor Xian also left. To think they still behave as if the flame-wind ancient country was still the time when he was emperor. Emperor Kong scoffed, still wanting to do as they please. Soon, one by one, the emperors began to leave as well. Emperor Chu, Emperor Fu called out, and quickly only Emperor Fu and Emperor Chu were left in the vast expanse. Emperor Fu, thank you for this time, Emperor Chu said with a smile. Emperor Fu's vote was the last. If he had chosen to agree, then guest official Luo he would have been stripped of his title. So his final vote was very important. Emperor Fu smiled and said, in this matter, Luo he is truly not at fault. I've also seen the task that Emperor Yang and the others had assigned to Luo he, to split into 192 avatars, to watch over the primordial bloodline beast eggs for 3 millennia. For an average second realm godly king, 3 millennia is indeed not long. But for Luo he, who reached the second realm as a godly king in just over 2 centuries, now is the time when his cultivation is advancing by leaps and bounds. To have him delay 3 millennia of cultivation, anyone would refuse. Yes, Luo he is at a critical juncture in his cultivation, if he was stuck at a bottleneck for countless millennia, unable to advance an inch. Assigning him this task then would be of no consequence, Emperor Chu nodded, but at this moment, it really isn't suitable for him to take it on. However, since becoming a godly king, Luo he indeed hasn't taken on another task. Emperor Fu said, I think if we get him to quickly take on a task, Emperor Yang and the others will have no grounds to complain. Accepting a task is also fine. Emperor Chu nodded, but it must not affect Luo his cultivation. I have a task here, see what you think. Emperor Fu immediately sent a task to Emperor Chu. To garrison the entrance to the Heavenly Pillar Realm, the first treasure land, for 1,000 millennia. Emperor Chu looked up, his eyes lighting up, good, good, very good. Emperor Fu laughed, although garrisoning the entrance requires the creation of 36 avatars, it does not require the expenditure of heart force, only needing to engage in battle if enemies invade, and the chances of battle over that 1,000 millennia are slim. I have no objections, Emperor Chu smiled and nodded, quite good. Such a task was the kind that Kuching god kings would scramble for. Firstly, it is minimal strain on the heart force, not tiring in the slightest. Secondly, it also provides an opportunity to explore some areas of the Heavenly Pillar Realm, the first treasure land. Then I will send this task to Luo he, Emperor Fu nodded. Very soon, Emperor Chu bid farewell to Emperor Fu with a laugh, evidently in a very good mood. Only Emperor Fu was left in the vast and boundless space. Luo he. Standing there, Emperor Fu watched as an immense formation rose within the vast and boundless space, the formation's operation naturally revealing many secrets of the land of origin, including the nodes related to Luo he, which were rather conspicuous. From the primordial cosmos, through the cycle of reincarnation to the land of origin, he arrived as an eternal true god. Within a century, he became a godly king. And in another 2 centuries, he reached the second realm of a godly king. Furthermore, he is favored by supreme rules. Such potential, once he leaves the land of origin, should become my fellow traveler, thought Emperor Fu. In terms of deductions on the secrets of the land of origin, Emperor Fu was ranked first. Although the Wind City Empress, the Earth God King, the Mother River Master, the mysterious presence in the Shadow Sky Realm, and the Fire Ancestor could all fight above their levels, comparable to emperors, they were unable to cultivate an ultimate realm life form. Emperor Fu, without consuming too many precious treasures, and solely through formation body refinement, had reached the status of an ultimate realm life form. In terms of accumulation, in this era, he was the one most likely to reach the ultimate realm, after Emperor Qing and the Lord of 10,000 Realms. According to the ancestor, After leaving the land of origin, one faces countless dangers, and surviving is difficult. Emperor Fu considered, Emperor Yang's temperament and their strength potential are not suitable to be fellow travelers. Luo he might become my fellow traveler, and I may even need his help. Within the land of origin, few could garner Emperor Fu's regard, and Luo he was one of them. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Huyang City. This task. Luo Feng looked over the task to garrison the entrance to the Heavenly Pillar Realm, which required a millennium and offered only 10 million merit points. Still, he was shocked. How did such an excellent task fall into my hands? These types of tasks were coveted by guest elder godly kings. Huyang City, the premier treasure land of the land of origin. The two ancient countries sealed off the entrances here at all costs. Other forces simply couldn't sneak in. The only way to get in was to force their way through. Luo Feng was aware of this. The guardian of the Shadow Sky realm is bound to have emperors and monarchs guarding it. The Flame Wind ancient country would arrange for an emperor, while the Thunder ancient country would assign a monarch. These were the core strength of the defense. Luo Feng. Mentor Emperor Chu sent a message. Did you receive the task? Yes, Master. How did such a good task fall into my hands? Luo Feng inquired. It was given to you by Di Fu, Emperor Chu said. This time Di Yang and the others planned to strip you of your guest elder status. At that time, Di Yang, Di Shi, Di Wu, Di Yuan, and Di Kong, 5 emperors agreed. If there were a 6th emperor to agree, you would have been stripped of your guest elder status. Luo Feng understood, so, in addition to Di Yang's core group, there were Di Yuan and Di Wu. Di Fu also arranged this task for you. I will send you a Shadow Sky Realm map intelligence. Seize the opportunity well. Emperor Chu promptly sent a map intelligence. Good. I will head to the Heavenly Pillar Realm now. After confirming with his master, Luo Feng naturally chose to accept the task. The moment a task was taken, was the moment of departure. Whoosh! A black-clad avatar of Luo Feng quietly left Huyang City, heading to the entrance of the Heavenly Pillar Realm. There were a total of 36 entrances to the Heavenly Pillar Realm. Luo Feng arrived at the nearest one, which was located in a wide expanse of wilderness in midair. With Luo Feng's realm, he could sense a vast expanse of twisting void here. Swoosh tilde 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 tilde, Luo Feng voluntarily flew into it. As he entered, endless golden light enveloped a vast area. Luo Feng immediately saw a white skeletal figure sitting cross-legged in the distance. This skeletal figure, white and smooth as if made of ivory, had a pair of normal eyes in its sockets, calmly looking towards Luo Feng. Luo he godly king, the skeletal figure stood up, smiling. My duty period has ended, and I wondered who would come to take over. Turns out it's the newly promoted second realm Luo he godly king. Seems that the ruling emperor holds Luo he godly king in high regard. Nurturing 192 primordial bloodline beast eggs has always been the responsibility of Emperor Xian, so she was the one to issue the task. As for the Heavenly Pillar Realm garrison task, as the first treasure land, only the ruling emperor had the authority to issue this task. It's also luck, Luo Feng said with a smile. Follow me first to pay homage to Emperor Xian, said the skeletal figure. Guarding the Heavenly Pillar Realm is mainly Emperor Xian's responsibility. We are merely assisting the emperor. Luo Feng nodded. Thank you, God King Bai Feng. God King Bai Feng, one of the guest elder godly kings of the Flame Wind ancient country, was a second realm of the great Tao of Life godly king, and had a life-and-death friendship with Emperor Xian. Whoosh! God King Bai Feng manifested an avatar to accompany Luo Feng further inside. The entrance's formation was a combination of those from the Flame Wind ancient country and the Thunder ancient country. Besides God King Bai Feng, there was also a Thunder ancient country's guest elder godly king guarding there, a figure with water blue long hair. The Heavenly Pillar, Luo Feng remarked, looking at a towering column. The column's height was immeasurable. There are 36 heavenly pillars, each at one of the 36 entrances. God King Bai Feng explained. They uphold the entire Heavenly Pillar realm, and each column has its own chances for fortune. When you guard the realm, you can explore them. Luo Feng nodded. He could send 36 avatars to guard the entrances, and could divide a few more to explore the heavenly pillar realm. We can only explore the outer perimeter of the heavenly pillar realm, God King Bai Feng said. The inner areas of the realm are exclusive to the two imperial clans. I understand, Luo Feng acknowledged. He knew this after receiving information from his master Emperor Chu. The heavenly pillar realm was not like any ordinary treasure land. This was where the ancestor of the universe left his most crucial treasure sites, and the two ancient countries spared no expense to monopolize this place. The heavenly pillar. Luo Feng looked from afar, feeling the overwhelming pressure coming from the pillars, which was greater than the pressure from a complete Great Dao. Moving deeper from the entrance, passing through two large entrance formations, they flew for a long while before arriving at the inner area of the heavenly pillar realm. There was a formation barrier around the edge of the inner area. Emperor, God King Bai Feng respectfully saluted, and a figure emerged from the formation, a figure with a terrifying might, clad in a black robe with golden secret patterns, his gaze cold. Luo he pays his respects to the emperor, Luo Feng said, knowing the other party was Emperor Xian, and also the past life teacher of Emperor Gui Shu. From his conversations with Emperor Gui Shu, Luo he knew the emperor was very grateful to his teacher. Imperial rules, Emperor Xian addressed Luo Feng, you are responsible for guarding the entrance and may explore the peripheral regions, but you are forbidden to enter the inner area of the heavenly pillar realm. Yes, Luo Feng replied. While guarding the entrance, in case of invaders, cooperate with the formation to resist at full strength. I will arrive as quickly as possible, Emperor Xian instructed coldly. Yes, Luo Feng responded again. Go, Emperor Xian said, then turned and went back into the inner formation area. Luo Feng felt a silent appreciation. Among the emperors who practiced primordial bloodline cultivation, Emperor Xian was considered to have a good temper, merely being extremely proud and caring about honor and hierarchy. But precisely because of his pride, he upheld his dignity in his actions. This video will end here.